Without getting into my long and less than pleasant history with everyone's favorite review site, let's just jump into the nitty-gritty of what you need to know and what you need to do. First off, there is a lot of material on how to write a proper response. It is really generic, it is really general, but it is a great starting point, so I highly encourage you to read that. Models like first, thank them for the review. Sure, great, right? We try really hard to blah, 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 right? I get it. What I'm going to say is an addition to that. So I'm not trying to wipe that clean and say, ignore all that stuff. So learning all that, learning how to respond, learning when to respond, learning the value of responding, all good. What we're talking about here is how to use the response to shape and reinforce the brand. So the only major difference between what they tell you to do and what I'm going to tell you to do, what I'm going to add in, is a focus on the brand, right? Again, it's another opportunity for you to reinforce that your company cares about status or support or team or work-life balance or stability or performance or whatever that thing is, whatever that idea is. The nice part is that not only is it a place to just kind of shoehorn it in and say, hey, brand, you can actually use the brand to flip a negative review, not to a positive, but certainly to dim and soften the pain of a negative review. So for example, someone leaves a review for your company saying you are a completely chaotic company. This place is a mess. I'm not sure who's in charge. There's no adults in the room. This place is nuts. There are no rules. You do whatever you want to do. It's crazy. Okay, that sounds nuts. It sounds absolutely nuts. And I know a lot of people who would read that and go, oh, wow, sounds like a nightmare. No, thank you. And written like that, what other response would you expect? However, as the owner of the Glassdoor space for that company, you can come in and respond to that review in such a way, not only that it tries to refute it, which I think is a bad idea, but instead flip it. It's a jujitsu judo move, right? You're using the power of that negative review against it. How do you do that? Well, in the case of, hey, this place is chaotic and a nightmare, you simply say, thank you for leaving this review. We're a company that prides ourselves on giving every employee maximum autonomy so that they can make their own decisions, so that they can choose their own path. We trust them to be adults. We trust them to know what's in bounds. We trust them to know what good actions are and to take them. We don't give a lot of rules. We don't give a lot of guidance because we assume everybody who works here knows what to do. Obviously, you didn't find that to be to your liking. We understand completely. We wish you the best in your next job. Suddenly, the nightmare place to work sounds really interesting, doesn't it? It sounds like a really interesting place to work, especially when you think back to all the meetings you've had in your last job, especially when you think about that micromanaging boss you had at your last job, especially when you think about all the horrible experiences you've had in previous jobs. You're like, oh, I just want to be able to do what I want to do. I just want to be able to, hey, look, I'm the expert. Let me do my job, right? Those reactions. Suddenly, if you've ever had that reaction, you're looking at a review response going, okay, this isn't company is bad. This is instead, this was a bad match between company and employee, who is now obviously since left. But I'm not that person. I'm me, and I like that stuff, so I want that. That's right. You just turned a flaming pile of dumpster trash fire, one-star review, into something that reinforces the brand you're trying to get people to believe. Yeah, that's how powerful it is. Now, this reinforces this idea that I don't think it's talked about a bunch in employer brand, but I love to bring it up. And that is, there is a tendency for people in employer branding and people above employer branding who think that's what employer branding is supposed to do, is to treat employer branding like a cheerleader. That they're the people who pump out all the rah, we're great, we're fantastic, amazing place to work, nothing bad ever happens here kind of thinking. And that doesn't work. It's not even unhappy. It's not even unpleasant. It's not even not a job you want. It's also not effective. It turns out that in a lot of cases, a negative response, a negative review, a negative piece of information doesn't just not discourage people. It actually makes all the positive things you have said more credible. Let me give you an example. First off, there's lots of data around Amazon reviews, right? Amazon, you can leave a 5-star review for sellers and products and stuff. Well, a lot of things you can buy at Amazon, you can buy the same product from multiple sellers. What they've done studies on is they've said if someone is selling a product, these two products are exactly the same. One is a 5-star seller and they have 200 reviews. The other one is a 4.4 star reviewer or 4.4 star seller, but they've got 2,000 reviews. No one buys this one. The negative, getting a not perfect review, says this, because everybody knows this is a scam, right? Everybody knows this is, you bought some positive reviews. You can't have perfectly perfect every single time. There are crazy people out there. People give 4-star reviews for saving their lives. No one gives nothing but 5-star reviews. This doesn't feel believable. 4.4 star reviews feels believable because somebody gave it a 4. Somebody may have even given it a 2. Maybe not too many because you get a lot of 5s, but a couple of negatives make all those 5 stars more believable. It suddenly feels more real. Right? This feels like I bought reviews. This feels like good hard work. Here, let me prove it again. I'm going to introduce you to my best friend. She's smart. She's funny. She's attractive. She's a heck of a catch. She loves cooking. She loves sports. She loves dogs. Like, I'm going to just list all these wonderful positive things about my best friend. Now, as a human, because you are, at some point your brain is going to say, what's the catch? We're humans. That's how we think. There's always a catch, right? And the more I keep layering on these positive cheerleader statements after you've had your own what's the catch moment, now it feels like I'm selling you. Now it feels like I'm trying to slip one past you. Now I feel like I'm scamming you, right? I'm not going to acknowledge any negatives. And you're like, no one's perfect. No one is. And by refusing to acknowledge that negative, I'm making you think about what that negative must be. And every time the thing you think is the negative is way more terrifying than the thing that is actually negative about my best friend. Instead, if I said, meet my best friend, she's incredibly smart, she's incredibly attractive, she's incredibly wonderful kind of be around, she's allergic to dogs, but the negative proves the positive. You go, okay, he's admitted the negative. That means he's admitted that those positives must be true too. So if your boss is saying we gotta get rid of all our not perfect reviews, don't. On Glassdoor, if I see a company that says 5 stars and it's a 5-star rating, I think one thought, that's a cult. And I don't want to join that, right? If it's everybody's wonderful, I mean, everybody can't love the job every single day all the time. You're saying no one has left this job? You're saying no one was a bad fit? Come on, that's not possible. And when you try to claim that, I know you're lying. At least I think you're lying. At least I believe everything you now said is a lie. So when you're thinking about your Glassdoor, think about how to reframe the negatives to reinforce, which is what's going on, your brand claims. Every brand is positive and negative. Hey, we all care all about status. We're all about status. We offer lots of status. That's great if you want to be rich. That's not so great if you want to save the world. If you want to save the whales, you want to save the trees. Yeah, it doesn't quite align. If you want to say, we offer an incredible mission, that's great. But adherence to a big mission usually means individual effort is downgraded. It's all about the big idea, not about the little person. Okay, every positive has a negative. And if you ignore the negative, if you only focus on the positives, again, you're not credible. And this is a game of credibility. You're going to be clear, you're going to be focused, and you got to be credible. That's how this works. So that's how you think about Glassdoor. You do not have to respond to every review. Please do not. That way lies madness. No one wants to spend their time doing this. And we're focused on doing the most good in the least amount of time, 2 to 3 hours a week. So for me, every once in a while, take a look, go find reviews that you know you can flip judo style very quickly and respond to them and leave the rest alone. No need to get in fights. All right, we're getting down to it. The next video The offer letter. You might think that's crazy, but it's not. I'll talk to you in a second.